Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we are continuing the alphabet series. We are on H, so we're on the top 10 H games. And this was a very easy letter to make. I have several dozen games that start with H just in my collection alone. So I had a lot of options, a big plethora of choices to choose from. So I've got a list that I think is really good. But before we get into the top 10, we'll do the honorable mentions like the other lists. And we have Heaven and Ale. It's a very Euro style game, and to be honest, I feel like this one should be in the top 10 for myself. But I just haven't played it in like 3 years, and I'm like, I don't want to put a game on here that I haven't played, that it hasn't been going to the table lately. But I know every time I did play this, I really, really had a good time. And after making this list and seeing this game, I'm like, I really should get this to get it to table, and I will be getting into the table pretty soon. So Heaven and Ale, we've got Hey That's My Fish, which is a very light, uh, game where you are moving around taking fish. It's a great little introductory game. The reason why it's not on the list though is because it takes so long to set up for what the game actually is, but it's a fantastic game. Then we've got Hive, a very abstract game. We're moving around pieces trying to capture queens. We've got Heat, Pedal to the Metal, a very popular game that came out this year. The reason why it's not on my top 10 is because I kind of like Flamme Rouge better than Heat Pedal to the Metal, because I think it's a little bit easier to get to the table. It's it's a little bit easier to teach the game. Heat Pedal to the Metal, it's not like a hard game at all, but I think I prefer Flamme Rouge so far. Maybe that will change in the future, but it's a good game either way. And last honorable mention we've got today is Hanabi, a weird, quirky little card game where you're actually playing with your hand of cards facing everybody else, and you're trying to play these cards in a certain order, but you can't look at your own, and so you're trying to give everybody hints what they have in their hand, but you can't directly communicate what is actually in their hand. So yeah, those are the honorable mentions. Let's get into the top 10 list today, and we are starting with a big, giant, epic game, and it actually comes from a company that's known for tiny epic games. This is Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. It's a big 4X game, and like I said, this company usually makes games called tiny epic games. They make little boxes. This is a very big box, and you're just moving around the land, collecting resources, fighting each other. And I feel like this game should be higher on this list, but it doesn't come to the table as often as it probably deserves. But every time I do get it to the table, I'm like, yeah, this is a great game. So number 10 is Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Going to number 9. Number 9 is a game that it's sort of a campaign. I played this with my sister, the whole campaign through it. This is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. This is a deck building game, and it's a pretty straightforward deck building game, but you are playing as the students from Hogwarts, and you're going through all the different years for the students. I think 7 years it is. So you have 7 games, but every game introduces a little bit more to the mechanics. And my sister, I played through this with my sister, like I said, and she's not a gamer at all. She doesn't play board games much at all. We have some family card games that we play, but she doesn't play any kind of games like this. But she's seen the Harry Potter theme, and she really wanted to play it. And so we played through this whole 7-game campaign in a matter of 2 days, I think it was. And each game's 30, 45 minutes. Pretty straight game, just adds a little bit more each game, which is a great way to introduce people to gaming, is just add a little bit more each time. So number 9, Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. Going to number 8. Number 8 is a little tiny card game. This is High Society. This is an auction bidding sort of game. And everybody has a certain amount of money at the start of the game, and your money is represented by these different cards. And each round you're going to be bidding, trying to get these cards that are worth points that's going to give you points at the end of the game. If you put a card down, though, you can't get change. So if you put your 25 down, you can't then take it back and make change and up it a little bit. You have to use the cards that are in your hand. You can't make change. And it's interesting because you're trying to win the bids, but also the person who spends the most is automatically eliminated from the game. So if you do have the most points at the end of the game, but you spend the most money, you can't win either way. So it's a fun little game. Out of all the games on this list, this is the game that probably hits the table the most. It's a very easy to bring to the table, and it's fast game, like 15 minutes, and you might play multiple rounds of it. It's a good start to your game night or end to your game night sort of game. So number 8 is High Society. Going to number 7. Number 7 is a solo-only game that came out this year, actually. This is the Halls of Hegra. This is a very, very difficult solo game. In fact, I got a review copy of this one, and I think I played it like 5 or 6 times that first month that I got it. I never once beat it. I didn't even come close to beating it. So if you like solo games, if you like really hard solo games like Robinson Crusoe, you should check this one out. I haven't heard a lot of buzz about this one, but to me this is probably my favorite solo game that has come out this year that I've gotten a chance to play. So yeah, great game. Number 7, Halls of Hegra. Going to number 6. Number 6 is a tile laying grid game. This is Habitats. This is a game where you are moving around your vehicle, grabbing these different animals that are in specific habitats. These animals want to be adjacent to different types of habitats or different types of animal. You're going to be laying it out, building out this grid. It's very simple, very straightforward game. I really enjoy this one. It's very similar to games like Nova Luna. I think Nova Luna is actually based on this one, if I'm not mistaken, but a great game. So number 6, Habitats. Going to number 5. Number 5 is a flip and write game. It's one of the most complex flip and write games that I've ever played. This is Hadrian's Wall. In this game, you're going to be just getting resources, and it's a combo game. More so of a combo game than I've probably ever played in my life, because you use this resource to check out off this box. When you check off this box, you get this resource, which could be meeples or stone, and then you're going to go check off this other box, which gets you this, which gets you that, and you're just constantly comboing things, trying to extend your rounds as long as you can to try and mark off as many of the boxes to complete as many of the goals that you can. To me, I've played this game a lot. I've played this game probably 25 to 30 times, and it has fallen down a little bit for me. But the only reason it's fallen down a little bit is because I've played it so much. I've explored the options. And for being a flip and write game, there are several different paths that you can take, that you can explore and try to do well in. And it's a game that's definitely been worth the money for me. And I hear there's another game that's basically in the series that is going to be based on this game, this system mechanically at least, but even bigger, more robust than this one. So I'm really excited for that one to come out. So number 5 is Hadrian's Wall. Number 4 is a little card game that I've talked about a lot, and I've championed it a lot. This is Hats. This game is a game you are simply taking a card from your hand, placing it on this table, and then taking the card that you place that card over and putting that into your tableau. You can only place a card on the table, replace that card, if that card is the same color or if it is a higher number. At the end of the game, you're going to score points for your cards in your tableau area based on the cards that are in that tableau, or that table up there, based on their color. So if the pink is in the 4 slot, all of your pink cards in your tableau are going to be worth 4 points. And so you're trying to manipulate that table to get the most points for yourself. What I always tell people is this is a 2 to 4 player game. Don't play it 4-player, don't play it 3-player. Play this at 2-player. It's a great head-to-head game. There is a pretty big last player advantage of this, but the game is so fast that I always tell people, play 2 games of this. Because, you're going to want to have the person, both the people get an opportunity to play last to kind of equal that out. But it's so fast, 10, 15 minutes. Great game. So number 4, Hats. Going to number 3. Number 3 is a game that's very similar to Seven Wonders. This is Hadara. And like I said, it's like Seven Wonders, but I think there's a little bit more going on. You're drafting cards into this civilization that you're building, but you're moving up these tracks on like 4 different categories. And the more you move up on these, the more bonuses you're going to get for certain things. Also, at the end of each round, you're going to have to feed people, so you have to be so far on that track for how many cards that you have in your little tableau area down below. It's a game, I really like Seven Wonders. This is right on par with Seven Wonders. I think if you're going to teach someone like a gateway style thing, go Seven Wonders first and then this one. But this isn't much more complex than Seven Wonders. But they are both great games. And Hadara, I really like the aesthetics of this one. It's so colorful. It's so giving in the nature of the looks for it. I really like the looks of this when it's on the table. If you pass this when it's getting played, you're like, oh, what is that game? That's colorful. And I'm a sucker for bright colors in games. So number 3 was Hadara. Going into number 2. Number 2 is a cooperative game that has 3 games in the system of it now. This is Horrified. There was Horrified Universal Monsters that came out, then Horrified American Monsters, if I'm not mistaken, and then Horrified Greek Monsters. My favorite is probably Greek Monsters because I love Greek mythology and that's what that one's all based on. But they're all very simple, nice, gateway style cooperative games where you're simply playing as characters, and it kind of reminds me of Pandemic a little bit, but I really like this system. It's a great game to introduce to people and just pick your favorite flavor. I think the American Monsters one's a little bit heavier than the other ones, but it's still not crazy difficult, but you're just moving around the board, collecting different tokens and using those tokens to defeat different monsters. You're trying to defeat all the different types of monsters. And the game has a lot of variability just built into it because there's 6 different monsters in each of these boxes. You're going to play against anywhere from 2 to 4 of those monsters. So there's a lot of replay value just built into these games. So yeah, number 2, Horrified. Pick your favorite flavor for that one. And going to number 1, my favorite H game. And I knew what this one was going to be, and it might surprise some people. This is a little tiny card game. This is the simplest game on this entire list even. This is a Hanamakoji. This is an I cut, you choose sort of game where you are playing these cards, these numbered cards that are items on your side of geishas. You're trying to win the favor of these geishas by having more cards than the opponent has cards on that particular geisha. And you have 4 different choices each round, and you have to do all 4 of them. And like I said, it's I cut, you choose. So you're going to pick 3 of these cards, and the opponent's going to choose 1 of them to keep, and then you get 2 of them. Then you're going to have 4 cards, and you're splitting those 2 up, and the opponent chooses which pair they want and which pair you want. And then you've got a secret card as well, and you're also going to be discarding cards. It's a great game. It's very simple. You can play this game in about 10 minutes, and it's fantastic. If you just have 2 people and you're waiting for a third person, I break this one out pretty frequently. It's an older game now. I think 2013 or 13 I think it was when it came out, but it's fantastic. I've played this game probably 100 times over the years. It's great. I don't get bored of it. I think it's got unlimited replay value, even though it's just some stack of cards. So yeah, number 1 is Hanamakoji, my number 1 H game for today. And that will complete this list, so make sure to comment down below, what is your favorite H game? There is a lot of options that I think I had over 100 games that I got to choose from that I've personally played for H. So there's a lot of H games out there, for myself at least. So make sure to comment what your favorite H games are. Either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care.